Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast, your new favourite podcast about video games. The Avengers 2 coming out over here before it comes out over there, haha. Leonard Nimoy being beamed up for the very last time. And of course, Ireland becoming favourites in the Six Nations as they outclass England at the Aviva Stadium. I am your host, Colm Ahern, and it's a very special podcast this week, friends. As with me is the medical marvel, it's Iron Man, Adam Cook. Adam, how are you?
I'm great. Well, I say I'm great. I'm a bit annoyed that it's just you and I, because I kind of had something I wanted to take you guys to task on. So I feel like it's almost bullying and picking on you but I feel like I still should do it. What do you think?
I definitely think you should do it. I'm ready. Come on.
It's just Calv's the man when it comes to TV, and I feel like
in what regard?
Well, saying that, I'm the one who recommended Archer and Bob's Burgers, but
hang on a second. In terms of watching good television shows, because that's Colm Ahern is your man.
Okay,
so what do you need to know?
That's fine. You've just dropped yourself in the shit. That's fine. What I need to ask you is, you know, Calv, Dan, Mikey, we're colleagues, but we're also friends. So why?
Debatable, but go on.
No, that's a YouTube show that some cunt makes.
It's a very good one, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody told me about the show Community.
Right. Okay. Well,
and I'm cross about that, because I thought we were friends, and friends introduced friends to Archer, Bob's Burgers, Arrested Development, that sort of thing.
No, the reason that I didn't introduce you to Community is because it's been a show that has been, a friend of mine has been pestering me about to watch. Not you, no, you're I'm
going to start doing that.
You're an extra person that we'll probably do that.
Yeah,
but I
will. No problem.
I haven't had time. I haven't had time, Adam. I'm
that's
very
a shit
busy
excuse.
man.
That's a really shit excuse, and you know it's. I've heard
great excuse.
Friend of the podcast, Ryan Sandre. I know he's a big fan of it. But he's never really said you should watch this. And like Calv, I don't know if he watches it. That's why I needed him to be here. Like Dan, I get the feeling Calv and Dan probably are both listening to this and going, "Oh yeah, great show. Yeah, well, cheers lads." But like you could have mentioned it once or twice maybe, because it's like, so I discovered. I mean, when was the last time I was on the podcast? A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously you're short this week, so the B team's back. But I have been watching nothing but that. To the detriment of other shows. Like, there are other weekly shows I watch, but my wife and I have just been watching Community every night, to the point, because the first season's 23 episodes, and I think the second season's 23 episodes, and we're on about 15 of season 2, so it's quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 hours every night, about 5 or 6 episodes, and it's absolutely wonderful, I was going to say, which is fun and wonderful.
And wonderful at the same time. That sounds good.
It's just absolutely top class. Like, it's so sharp, that the humour is so clever. It's brilliantly written, and there's some fine looking women in there as well, and chaps. And some fine-looking gentlemen as well. It's just everything about the show makes it worth watching. But it is so witty. Like, I cannot get across. I mean, me going so is really not. It's kind of the opposite of the show. It's just terrific characters, terrific acting, and I feel, hurt that nobody has recommended this to me. Hurt is the word I would. I mean, I haven't even seen a single episode of the new series of Archer yet because of this.
I saw the first episode and I thought it was poor enough. Oof. And I will obviously watch it, but after watching the first episode, I was kind of, I'll leave it rest and I'll come back to you, Archer.
Right.
Because I've been watching a lot of Bob's Burgers lately, actually.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a great show.
See, I'm at the point now where both my wife and I prefer Bob's Burgers to Archer, which I don't think you're quite at yet, but you haven't seen all of Bob's Burgers yet.
No, I finished... Well, I saw the first 2 seasons.
Oh, so you're not even halfway through then?
No. Did you watch all of Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, I'm nearly up to date because it's in season, I want to say 6 now.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
Which is about half. Well, actually, it might be more than halfway through. That's how good Community is. It's taken me away from that. It's just, some excellent TV out there, Colm.
There is, just like there are some excellent games out there, Adam. Such as OlliOlli 2.
Yeah. We gave that a 10 out of 10. First of this year. I think it's the first of this year. I can't think of another game that's been given a 10. I didn't review it, and you didn't review it, but Dan Murphy did. Not Nails, with a Y.
Mm-hmm. What? Nails with a Y?
Yeah, nails, Naylz. That's how you say
That's
nails
not,
to him.
No,
well,
that's
no, it
not.
is, because
it's
his name is...
Nailz. Z
his
as
name's
well, because
Naylor.
that's how hard he is. It's not even a Z, he's a Z. I don't care. It's nails because he's hard as nails.
Okay, well, I would agree to disagree on this, but yeah, OlliOlli is also hard as nails with a Y. It's brilliant. It's one of those things though. I feel like the game's been out, I think, less than a week, but I feel
feels like longer.
Well, I feel like we've talked it to death because we've reviewed it, we've done videos of it. You've done a video of you haven't done.
I haven't. I filmed
you did it in as much as you filmed it because it's your American cousin, same chap who gets you the TV episodes.
Yeah. He's a well-travelled man. He's a pro skater, Chad Bradderson.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's a dude as well, and a former. He's a current pro skater, but he has won an X Games gold medal as well. He's well celebrated. I'm surprised you've never heard of him.
No, I have heard of him. I just okay. we're very close friends, and I don't like to tell people because I like people. I like people to take me for who I am and not my celebrity friends. I don't think it's an important thing to note. Who cares about Chad Bradderson anyway? Because it's you and I talking about skateboarding games.
Yeah, exactly.
I love OlliOlli too. I think it's fantastic. I think. Tell me how much did you play of the first one?
Of the first one, I played a decent chunk.
Okay, so because the reason is, and I said this, I don't want to repeat it too much, but I said this to Dan in the Geek Speak. When I first played the first world of OlliOlli 2, I was a bit worried because you start it and it looks much better. Like it's got more personality. It's just generally
it looks way better.
And if you listen to the podcast regularly, you'll know why that is. Because Simon explained exactly why it looked the way it did,
And I fucking said it to him straight. I was like, the first one, meh.
Yeah.
With its retro stylings.
Absolutely. But the first reaction is, as I'm going through the first few levels of World 1 is, this is just the same, but look better. And then you get to the second world and it's like, hey, you need to learn manuals. And, they're fucking brilliant, aren't they? That changes the game.
It really does. And like when we had him on the podcast a couple of weeks back, like he spoke about how the OlliOlli is kind of, it's following a similar pattern to Tony Hawk in in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 you had manuals, in 3 you had reverts. I don't know, maybe that'll be it's kind of hard for them to do that in OlliOlli because it's like a side-scrolling game as well, so maybe it wouldn't work.
They could make it 2.5D. Hang on, is that reverts where you spin no, hang on.
When you come down off a vert and you spin the board.
So you're going one way and you spin the board so it's going the other way.
Do you know, like a half pipe?
Yeah. So you jump off that.
Yeah, and you come back down and you
land.
You switch the board, so your stance goes from orthodox to goofy, or goofy to orthodox.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know that would work. I mean, the only thing I would add to it is like,
Jesus Christ.
You all right there?
Yeah, fine. Carry on.
Okay. The only thing I would add to it, like, if I don't know if this will be enough to make an OlliOlli 3. I mean, I don't even know if they will do that. I mean, they're making Not a Hero, but tricks on the board. Like, so say you're just skating along, and you want to just, I don't really know the names of the tricks, but like, so you can just sort of flick the board from front to back. So you kind of, as a real simple trick, just like a 180, so you're facing the opposite way, Is that a revert? Is that a revert, in fact?
So
that would kind of work. I mean, I suppose they could make the tricks more pronounced, but I don't know how you do that in a 2.2D world. It's look, as a critic, you don't like saying this word, but for what this is, for what OlliOlli 2 is, it's kind of the perfect handheld game. Like, it's just got every hook you need to keep you playing it. And I say it's a handheld game because I don't like playing it on PS4, but I really like playing it on PS Vita. I can't think of really any improvements they could do really.
on top of this. Yeah, it is kind of hard to improve on it, really.
I mean, we don't give a 10 out of 10 and say that means it's perfect. Our scoring system means it's like top recommendation, like the highest possible recommendation. But I am saying, I think in terms of what it does, I think it is kind of perfect in that it's the pinnacle of what it is. I don't see where it can go.
Yeah, like again, it's. I feel like when you begin playing OlliOlli, you have to teach yourself to play it, especially if you are of a particular generation which grew up on the Tony Hawk games or something like that. Like, but at the same time, it's just when you really get hooked on it. I mean, I could, I can't remember whatever night it was during the week, and I was playing one particular track for about 25 minutes.
On OlliOlli too?
Yeah, because I was trying to get all of the...
Oh, yeah.
All the little challenges.
Yeah, I love that.
Fuck me.
I love it.
Jesus, just constantly, like, fucking up somewhere, you know, maybe you have to land... Every trick has to be okay and above or something, and you get one sloppy, you're like, bollocks!
Triangle,
have to start again. Yeah, exactly. It genuinely is just superb.
But you know, it's just, I know we probably, you know, let's say we talked a lot about it. Did you see on the day the reviews went up, which would be Tuesday? Well, I say this week, but the time you're hearing it, Tuesday gone, I suppose. Did you see they changed their Twitter handle from roll_7 to troll_7?
I didn't see troll. I saw dole.
Right. Yeah. I think they're all linked. I think they're all linked, right? Because someone tweeted at them, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but what it basically was is, your game fucking sucks. Why don't you fuck off? It was something like that. So Lovely. They changed. So they took a picture of themselves pretending to pack up their studio and go home. Like, yeah, he's this dude. This random guy said we're shit, so we're going home. And then everyone was like, yeah. Fair play. So they changed it to Troll 7, and I guess the Dole 7 is now because they're on the Dole. These are all terrifically British references. Like, you're on the Dole, it's a British thing. I love the fact that they don't shy away from the fact that, because skateboarding, when I was growing up, was like a really cool thing, but it's not.
Oh, it's not. No,
it's similar to Rock Band. It's not
cool anymore.
It's not en vogue. No, it's not. But yeah. No. I mean, Chad Bradderson looks cool as fuck, and also,
obviously, yeah.
I mean, he's the world champ. But I love the fact that their celebration video is one of their guys just literally skateboarding and doing a trick. It's like, you know, we love this game and we love skateboarding. We don't care. Like, it's cool if we. And I've always subscribed to that. Like, it's cool if I say it's cool, and that's not me going, I decide it's cool. It's like, if I think it's cool, it's cool. It's this whole thing of like, if you like something, you like it. Who cares?
Well, I'm a firm believer in that as well. All the things that I like, I generally hate the fans of those things. I hate fans of video games. I hate fans of pro wrestling.
I was going to ask you about wrestling.
I hate football fans. I hate music fans. I hate, because a lot of the time it is just posturing, and, you know, when in the case of football, they're mainly scumbags,
racists,
pedophiles. Yeah, all of the above. Like, music, there's a lot of elitism in music. You know,
but hang on. Speaking of music, have you heard the new Noel Gallagher album?
I haven't listened to it yet. No.
Fuck's sake. Okay.
But yeah, it's, you know, like, if you're into it, fuck
music
it.
Fans.
Who cares if you're into it? Just like you're into Grow Home.
Yeah.
Ubisoft isn't. They don't care. You know?
No, it says a bit. Well, I mean, when I said, you know, dear Mr. Ubisoft, can I have a copy of the game to do some stuff with? They were fine with that, and they sent it. But I mean, we talked about this in a Geek Speak, and it's a weird game. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too long, because it's one of those I feel it needs the visual aid. I feel you need to see it. So if you are listening to this podcast, go to youtube.com/GodIsAGeek, and probably very recently there'll be a video called Grow Home is a Lovely Surprise, because it is. I don't know why it's not on consoles. It feels very much like a passion project. It's a platform game that you can climb in, that you collect little things. It's very cutesy, it's good looking, and it's from the same people who made The Crew and Watch Dogs and are making The Division. So it's nothing like any of those. It's nothing like anything Ubisoft make. Although, do you know what? Before I forget, this is totally breaking the fourth wall, like fuck the podcast, but you know Rayman Legends is on Games with Gold this month?
Yeah.
Is that the Xbox One version?
It's the Xbox One version, yeah.
I'm going to download that, because that means I've played and completed that on PS3, PS Vita, Xbox 360, Wii U, and then it'll be Xbox One. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know what to say about Grow Home. I would just say go watch the video, because it's really, really good. And I mean, the game I want to talk about is Hotline Miami 2, but we can't talk about that just yet, so we won't talk about that, will we?
No, we won't. What we're going to talk about instead is Oddworld.
Great game.
New and tasty.
Actually, the great game is not strong enough, is it?
No, like, I grew up on... well, I suppose... This
is one of your favourite games of all time, isn't it?
People look at me and they say, wow, what a fresh-faced, beautiful young man.
They do.
I do. And they must look at me and go, God, he must be so young. Maybe his first console was the PlayStation 4 even. That's how, fresh-faced and youthful I look. But, I mean, yeah, okay, I suppose the first console I properly kind of grew up on was the Mega Drive, but I did play the Master System. I even played a decent chunk of the Commodore 64. Bet you didn't know that.
No, I do now.
But then the PlayStation came into my life, Adam Cook, and it introduced so many wonderful games. Some of my favourite games of all time, such as like Metal Gear Solid. But one of my favourite games of all time, without a shadow of a doubt, is Abe's Odyssey. And it feels like, up until recently, up until they kind of announced that this Oddworld New and Tasty was even in development, it felt like a forgotten classic, sort of. Do you know, maybe a cult classic.
Do you mean the game itself or the game as a series? Because they have released stuff. Like, what's the one that's like the cowboy western, the cowboy one?
That's Stranger's Wrath. Yeah, like they did.
Is that the latest one in terms of? Because the thing is, a lot of their games have sort of been remastered, remade. In terms of the chronology of when they were originally released, is that one the last one? The Western one that you've just said the name of and I've immediately forgotten. Stranger's Wrath. Because that's now on PS Vita and everything, isn't it?
Yeah. There was so there was Abe's Odyssey, Abe's Exodus, which they were never planning on making, but it was because of the popularity of Odyssey.
But is that a platformer? Because one, again, I've actually for the third fucking time forgotten the name of.
Stranger's Wrath.
Stranger's Wrath.
Yes.
That's not, I mean, it is, there are platform elements, but it's more of a traditional third person action adventure, isn't it?
It's basically a
Assassin's
shooter,
Creed, shooty type thing. But so in terms of,
but the pinnacle of the series, without
Apes.
The pinnacle was the first, and then it just kind of gradually went down. Like Munch's Odyssey was another game. Which,
but what was that like? Because I don't think in terms of genre of game, like Abe's is a 2D side-scrolling platform puzzler. Yeah, it is. Is that the only one in the series that's that? Because, like you say, Stranger's Wrath is... I got it right.
Yeah, they went into the 3D space then.
Right after Abe's?
Yeah.
Okay,
so this Munch was a 3D and Stranger's Wrath was 3D.
So this is the original and the best. And I've played this through on PS... I'll tell you how much I like this game. And I apologise if I've told this story before, but when I was playing it pre-release, I got to the very last... Have you finished it again?
Not yet.
But you probably can remember it.
I have been sidetracked by other projects.
Yeah, but you can probably remember...
Yeah.
The last bit where you drop down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to that bit, and this new version's got quick save. So on PS4, you just touch the touchpad, and it instantly quick saves. And I think then you hold it to restart. So really cool, excellent. Why not? I saved because it's quite tricky, that room, to get down there. It's on you're timed and everything because you're escaping. Mm-hmm. So I quick saved right before that drop, and my save corrupted. So we're talking. The quick save is literally the next thing you do is drop into the final room, which is like a 15-second bit before the end cutscene. And I had a corrupted quick save, so I had to go 2 hours back and go all the way through it again. Now, most games, I'd have just thrown the controller up in the air and gone, no, I'm sorry. But with this, I did it again anyway. That's how good it is.
And it is. I mean, there are certain things, right? Because we've been praising it, there are certain things which I will mention that I think they changed, and I don't think they needed to. Like New and Tasty is a fucking glorious looking game.
It really is. Do you know what? Your footage of it, because you've done. We should say as well, go and watch your video, right?
Yeah.
But your footage of it. I'm stunned because I have played this on PS4. Now, whether it's because I'm watching it on a smaller screen, holy shit, the PC version looks unbelievable.
Hashtag Master Race.
Yeah.
You know?
PC Master Race.
The hashtag Master Race. Okay. So, like, New and Tasty, it genuinely does look absolutely fantastic. And they've ditched the whole... kind of fixed camera on your one screen. You go to the edge of the screen, and then even though they're kind of a fixed camera view, they've ditched all that. It's like your scrolling camera. So, and right. I personally, some people not gone on it. I think it's better because you can see what's ahead of you.
It's modernised, isn't it?
And it's modernised. You're not kind of leaping into a situation and then kind of going, oh fuck. There's a slig right here and I'm dead, or something like that. But there's a few things like Rupture Farms, where the game begins in the meat factory where Abe is working and he's trying to escape and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they've made that look absolutely wonderful, as you mentioned earlier.
I think we should use that more often, actually. I think that's a good slip.
It's incredible.
Yep.
However, in Abe's Odyssey, it doesn't look incredible. It doesn't look wonderful, and it shouldn't look wonderful. And what I mean by that is that Rupture Farms is a dark, dreary, disgusting, horrible meat factory where these Mudokons are being kept. They're slaves, effectively. And what they've done in the new one is it's a lot of neon colours, brighter. I think they could have modernized it with better textures, but I don't think they actually had to brighten the place up. And there are certain elements of this game where some of the Mudokons who are, like, say, they're cleaning the floor and stuff like that, there'll be bits of dialogue where they're saying, this one particular spot is going to be very clean or something, because that's just their animation. They'll be crouched down and cleaning the ground. And it is humorous, but at the same time, I don't think... There are parts of Oddworld New and Tasty where you can introduce some humour. I just don't think it should be there. Because, like, if you look, and in the video that I put up, you can see, like, gameplay of the original Abe's Odyssey as well, which, for the video, I went back and I played. Oh, God, what a fucking brilliant game. And yeah, there's certain little bits, like the outside bits with... When you just escape Rupture Farms, there's just a kind of a darker, more sinister tone to them than in New and Tasty.
I get where you're coming from and I get what you're saying, but I think it doesn't bother me because I don't have quite the reverence for the original that you do.
And I understand that.
Because this is the equivalent of them finally properly saying we're doing Final Fantasy VII for PS4, but like not just being a shit port. Cheers, Square. And... Like,
I know, yeah, and if that was released and there were, like, you would probably have a much better memory of that, and well, I would have fucking nearly fuck all memory of it. But like you exactly, and you would probably be more inclined to pick that apart than
absolutely.
I would.
I mean, what you're saying there, I get it, and I can't say you're wrong because you're not, but I don't even really see what you're pointing out. I'd have to see it side by side because although I loved it back then, it's not like. Well, I don't know, is it up there? It's not up there in my top 10 of all time, whereas it sounds like it's not only in your top 10, but that original may be in your top 3, you know, and that's absolutely fair enough, but then you're not saying, oh, you're not like, how dare you, this is fucking outrageous, you're still saying I love it, and because I remember like, giving you the code for this game, and I think you nearly topped me off, mate, didn't you, let's be honest.
If I was there in person with you, I probably would have. I was that overjoyed with getting to play it. And it's like, yeah, I haven't gotten to finish it just simply because I've had to play kind of other bits and pieces.
You played a decent chunk of it though.
I have.
And you didn't have to, really. I mean, it's one of those games you really could just play it and go, yeah, I played an hour of it, I remember this so well and it looks now amazing, but you...
I want to finish it again.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So did I. I was in the same seat. I was like, I don't really have to finish this. I just wanted to see it, but I couldn't stop playing it. It's a weird game, really. Like, I don't really know why it hooks me, but it does.
And that's why I loved it so much back in the day, because it was weird. It was just so different. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it still is. It's the, like, you know, it came out of...
Grow Home is the Abe's Odyssey of this generation.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
It's not quite as good, but it's got that. I mean, again, this is fourth wall breaking. In the video, we talked about weird games and how there just aren't any now. Like Catherine, like Abe's Odyssey, like Grow Home. Everything's very safe now. It's like we've talked about an indie title, OlliOlli, another indie title, Abe, and Grow Home may as well be an indie title because although it's Ubisoft, I think from what I understand, it's more of a passion project from within a studio.
And it might as well be indie because Ubisoft don't give a shit.
Yeah, and it's like I am kind of yearning for that weird game at the moment because everything's so fucking generic, cookie cutter, which I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, of course. Of course you're allowed
because
to say.
Of my surname. But everything feels so generic at the moment. Like every time I put a shooter on, it's like, do something interesting.
And that brings us wonderfully onto Resident Evil Revelations 2. Now, before you jump down my throat,
that's fine.
The reason I say that is because that's I suppose that's an insult that people were levelling at Resident Evil for, I suppose, since 5 and 6.
Yeah.
People were just, I don't know, just their love for Resident Evil, with every release, their love for Resident Evil was just going down and down and down. Now, you've played the first 2 episodes of Resident Evil Revelations 2?
Can talk about the first 2 episodes of it, yeah.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't have said that. I didn't need to say that. Now people are going to think, oh, was he really talking about the other episodes? I really like it. I don't think it's without fault, and I really want you to play it.
Is it a quote-unquote return to form?
That's a really loaded question.
Okay, give me a breakdown. What is Resident Evil Revelations 2?
Right, I want to start this by saying, right, if you yearn for the Resident Evil of old,
this isn't it.
That doesn't. Well, it's not that this isn't it. It's that doesn't exist anymore.
Not under the Resident Evil name, anyway. At least
no. That Resident Evil, as you knew it on the PS1, on the GameCube, even Resident Evil. What basically was Resident Evil 1 through 3 doesn't exist anymore. This is what we've got. It's a third person shooter. Now, the reason I say that is because if you can accept that, if you can say, look, fair enough, this is what's going on now. This is the way Capcom want Resident Evil to be. You're going to really enjoy Revelations. Like, Colm, I know you've got this, and I implore you to play this sooner rather than later. Because aside from everything else, it's a really fun game to play. Like, the gunplay is excellent. Like, the just walking around popping heads is tremendous fun. And that has to be there for it to be a good game. At its core, it must be fun. And it's... I haven't seen too many people saying this, but for me, it's the most self-aware Capcom have ever been. Now, you've seen the video, and I won't spoil it in case people are worried about spoilers. But there's some one-liners in both episode 1 and 2 that are so un-Resident Evil in their self-awareness. It made me laugh. There are scares in both episodes, and not PT level of scares, but there are jump scares. But that's what Resident Evil was. The dog jumping through the window, the crows, the first time a hunter appeared and just suddenly leapt at you and took your head off in one sweep. They were jump scares. And I love Resident Evil. It's one of my favourite series. But Revelations 2, episode 1's phenomenal. Episode 2 is slightly poorer, but mostly because...
But still good.
Oh, still, I mean, I gave 2 7.5 out of 10. It's still very good. I didn't want to say it in the review because it's one of those where I wasn't sure if it was spoilery or not, but basically they introduced an enemy, because the idea is co-op, local co-op. So when you're playing as Barry, you can press triangle and you switch to Natalia, who is a little girl who has no weapon apart from a brick that she can throw or hit people with, right? But in episode 2, they introduce... no, I'm going to say it. So it's like, this is real minor spoilers. It's basically an enemy type. Okay, so if you don't want to know anything about the enemies in Resident Evil Revelations episode 2, just skip 30. On the iPhone, just press plus 15 a couple of times, or whatever. Basically, they introduced invisible enemies. I'm sorry, just banged the mic there. They introduced invisible enemies, and you switch. Then this is why I think they went local co-op only, because you switch to Natalia. And you use her basically the same. Whereas with Barry, you'd hold like left trigger and right trigger to fire. With her, you press left trigger and she points. And by pointing, you reveal the enemy, so you can quickly switch back to Barry, and you can shoot him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if we're playing that locally, I can actually just look at your screen and see him. Right, great, no problem. But if we're playing online, that's a little bit less easy. It's not as easy to coordinate, is it?
Yeah.
Because you are literally having to say left a bit, right a bit, left a bit. It doesn't work. Now, that's obviously a decision they made with the enemy types, and I think there's a narrative reason. I mean, the idea so far is that Claire and Moira Burton are going through this area, and then the second chapter of each episode, you switch to Barry and Natalia, who are basically going through that same area. And from
in both episode 1 and episode 2, it follows that pattern, where for half the episode you're playing as...
Yeah.
2 characters and the other half the other two.
Yeah, I mean, and the locations are not exactly the same because of the devastation that's gone before. I mean, there's an interesting tooltip that appears in the second episode where it says there's a certain enemy that if you deal with them in a certain way, it will affect your playthrough as Barry. So there's definite... I don't want to go into the story too deeply because I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. But I don't want to be the guy who's like, and then ruins it for someone else. But I think that the Franz Kafka quotes and... just the general, like the cutscenes, the difference between the cutscenes in locations for Claire and for Barry, I think make things fairly obvious as to what's going on. But it's just real good fun. It's got raid mode, which is just like the arcade run and gun style, mercenaries version. Basically, it's just really good. The package is good. It could look better. It could look a bit better. I mean, I'm playing it on the PC, 1080 60 and all that, and it looks fine. It's smooth as anything. I think it's 60 frames on PS4 as well, so you're not really missing anything playing it there. But there's a few textures that are a bit...
Does it warrant being episodic?
You see, I think it does, and I seem to be the only person in the world that thinks that, because everyone keeps saying, no, don't know why they've done this. It seems really odd to me, and if I may take the floor and have a slight rant, Colm?
Please do, I'll sit back.
Okay, so, no, because you can get involved, because you'll agree with me, I know you will. So everyone moans about Telltale, how they release one episode, Tales from the Borderlands, and then just don't release another one.
Fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm. So... what we've all said is, why can't they just get the game done and then just release it one a month? That's what Capcom have done. They've got the game done and they're releasing it, not monthly, weekly, like a TV show.
The way it should be done.
Yeah, the way episodic is done. And every week you get the new episode, every week you get more raid content, because there are new characters introduced in each episode and they appear in raid mode. It's really well done. And every week so far, and I'm getting... in a preview sense, or no, I don't know what fucking sense we're talking about this. In the sense of episode 1 and 2, every end of the episode, it's a proper mic drop, like boom,
cliffhanger.
It's almost like a boom,
wait till
boom,
next.
boom, 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 boom. It's every episode. It's like, oh, you bastards, and then it goes next time on Revelations, and you're like, shit, I want that now, and I'm in a position where I can play that. But if I wasn't, I would really want it now, and. That's episodic gaming done right, isn't it? I don't get everyone saying, I don't know why they don't just release the whole fucking game. Because that's the whole point, right? What people are asking for, right? What people are asking they do is basically turn Revelations into Alan Wake. Because that's what Alan Wake does. There's chapters, and at the end of them, and it's like, and previously in Alan Wake, next time in Alan Wake, which you're going to play right now. It's like, that's not episodic gaming. That's just chapters, right?
Yeah.
For me, Capcom have absolutely nailed the episodic thing. A 1.5 to 2.25 hour slice of gaming every week that leaves you with a big cliffhanger. I feel like it's just fucking Truman Show. That's what we wanted, wasn't it? And now nobody wants it. Now it's wrong. I don't get it, Colm. That's what everyone wanted. You wanted that. We wanted was a monthly episode.
Yeah,
and they've done
monthly.
it weekly. Like, they've actually done a proper episodic thing.
That's the way the episodic... I mean, because it's a concept taken from television. Yeah. So it's basically, as you said, I love the idea of, here's an hour and a half every Wednesday for... is it 4 episodes? Something like that?
I don't know if they announce certain things, but there's 4 main episodes,
Okay, but
will you do me a favour, Colm?
I can try.
Promise? No, you can do. I know you can do this, so I'm going to ask if you'll do it. I may not be on the podcast next week. I probably won't be. But could you do me a favour? Could you have played at least episode 1 and just come back and talk about it next week? Because you're someone I know and respect and admire and have similar tastes in gaming to, and I would like to listen to the podcast next week and hear what you think of this, because I think you will be as flabbergasted as I am that people are complaining that it's episodic, because I can't think of another series that's actually got it right. And Capcom have been threatening this for a while, because I don't know if you ever played Asura's Wrath.
I didn't, but I'm aware of it.
That did the same thing, where it was like, same as Alan Wake, and that's the end of episode 1. Next episode, which you're going to play right now. Because Alan Wake does that, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, it kind of fits tonally with Alan Wake.
And it does with Asura's Wrath, because it's like a manga type thing. But at the same time, what they've done here is actually do that, but actually make the episode a week later. And I don't get why it's annoying, because if you don't like that, you can buy the boxed version or whatever, the whole game in March, and just play through it like that anyway. But I think this is really cool, and I don't get it. Yeah, for me, this is like, have Capcom actually... Are they the first to get it right? Because Telltale do it, but I don't think they get it right.
Nope, they fucking definitely don't.
Where is Tales from the Borderlands episode 2?
When did episode 1... Was that last year?
Yeah, it was.
Mother of fuck.
Because I remember Dan Pearce, 10 Second Ninja's Dan Pearce, thought episode 1 was his favourite game of the year, and that would mean it has to be December.
Jesus
if not November.
Christ.
Yeah, and we're in March again. So it's the same thing that happened with Wolf Among Us.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very similar. But
will
Adam,
you do that though? Will you play Revelations 2 for me?
Okay, I promise.
You promise here and now. Don't edit this out.
I promise. I won't. I promise. I will play at least episode 1 of Resident Evil Revelations 2.
I think you will really enjoy it. Really enjoy it.
Okay. But you did say that you mentioned that it was March. I can't remember. I was about to link it in, but then you made me promise. Sorry. I can't remember what I was going to say. But GDC is happening right now, Adam Cook. And this week's talking point is all about Valve because they dropped a ton of announcements, including Half-Life 3, which was very shocking.
Never happening. Doesn't exist.
They announced a load of things, right? But firstly, we're going to go through a couple of these things. They announced the Steam Link, which is a box that I suppose you have in your front room or whatever. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say your PC is in an office or whatever. It's in a different room in your house. And you can have your Steam Link in your front room, hook that up to telly, and basically stream your games from the PC to the television. Wonderful.
So Shield then.
I was just going to say, it's like Shield.
Yeah. Or Chromecast, or Apple TV, or Roku, or...
Well, I suppose related to Steam games. However, it's very, very competitively priced at
how much?
At $50. Now, sometimes American products will be like, yeah, it's fucking $50, and then it'll come over and it'll be 50 in our respective regions as well, euro and pounds, and it's like that's not how currency works.
Like the Metal Gear Collector's Edition, which is $99 but also £99.
Yeah, it's like okay.
So hang on, so this is like I'm confused. What is this? Does this mirror your PC or does it just mirror Steam? Like, can I mirror my entire PC?
As far as I'm aware, it just mirrors Steam.
So how does
big picture mode? I'd imagine. Like it's effectively kind of like their play. Did that thing release as PlayStation TV or Vita TV?
PlayStation TV.
Right, okay. So I suppose it's kind of like that.
Right.
And they're also, it's like,
go on. So is this running Valve, what's it called? Valve's OS?
Steam OS,
Steam OS, it is. Is that out now? Or is it not out yet?
Because
that the Alienware Alpha I reviewed didn't have Steam OS because it's just not ready yet. But that... okay.
I think it is.
It must be. If it's Valve's box, it'll be running Valve OS, Steam OS. It must be.
Yeah, and it's like, it's $50 and you can get a package deal with the Steam Link thing and a controller for $100, which brings us nicely onto the controller itself.
Hang on, so the Steam Link, I appreciate you may not have the answers. Does that stream the games?
Yeah.
So it uses that Steam in-home streaming?
I believe so.
Because if
stop asking me questions.
No, it makes. It must do. I mean, it must be what it does.
Yeah.
For $50 or probably like $39.99, I think
I'd
be tempted.
I think that's a very competitive price point, and especially the fact as well, like $100, get the whole thing and you get the controller. I think that's very, very competitively priced.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I was like, I'd seriously consider that. And then I saw the controller. So the final design, what we're led to be the final design of the Steam controller that Valve have been talking up for quite some time, has also been shown off at GDC. Now, as podcast is an audio form, we'll try and describe this as best as possible. But the two trackpads, which were on the original design, are still there, but the one they left now has the kind of markings of a D-pad. There's now an analog stick, 4 face buttons, the A, B, X, Y, same lettering and colouring as the 360 or Xbox One.
Yeah.
You have what appear to be a start and a kind of a select or a back button. You have a middle Steam button thing, 2 shoulder buttons, and something different. You have 2 kind of extra triggers.
Yeah.
Around the back of the controller.
This is basically a mouse controller.
Yeah.
It's you know those like Flash like Mad Cat style mice that have like 100 buttons on. This is that, but a controller. I don't like the look of it, and I especially don't understand why, of all the companies to change where the buttons go on a controller, that Valve would be the people to do that.
Well,
why are the buttons there? Why is the stick there? None of that makes any sense.
I think that they've bottled it because when you look at the original design of the controller, which a lot of people took the piss out of when it was first shown off, and I mean, I suppose in some ways you could understand why people were taking the piss out of it. It looked like an owl, and I was like, you know, it's all right. I understand. Yeah, that's relatively amusing. However, the thing is, it looked different, and we have been dealing with. I say dealing with. We have become accustomed to a particular controller design, where you have your 4 triggers, your D-pad, 2 analog sticks, 4 face buttons, start, select, and like we have become accustomed to that. And controllers have settled into that design.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because we have nowhere else to go. I don't know. I don't make controllers for a living. But with Steam's original design for the controller, it just seemed at least like something different. And Valve are known for kind of, I suppose, being a bit unique and maybe having a bit of innovation every now and again. And the controller looked like that, whereas now it just kind of looks like a fucking Xbox controller.
Who's buying this? Who's this aimed at? Steambox users, right? Steam Link buyers.
I would say so.
Because if you're a PC gamer, you're going to use a mouse and keyboard or a controller.
Exactly, or you already have a controller.
And the thing is, games are pretty much designed now to be used with an Xbox controller. You know,
I'd imagine that's why they have the Xbox buttons.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I find this whole thing really weird. It doesn't. I don't think it. I don't want to go on record at this point because I haven't tried it, haven't felt it, but I don't see it taking off. I don't see the point in it, really.
Do you see the point in Vive?
Yeah, I mean, this is another weird one because I seem to be the only person on the face of the earth who isn't like
couldn't give a shit.
No, I do give a shit, but I haven't experienced VR because it always seems one of those things that, as someone who wears glasses 24/7, like the idea of it, just I know there are models out there that let you put, you know, that are specially designed for glasses to be worn in comfort, but I just like VR sounds amazing, but I don't see the games yet. Like if Valve are going to be the one to put out their own VR, then like what game are they pushing with it?
Yeah, so Vive was officially unveiled at GDC as well. That was kind of the big takeaway of Valve's announcements. Yeah, they showed off Steam machines and Source 2, but whatever, who cares? You could basically have an idea. Whatever. Yeah. So Vive is their VR goggles, which they're kind of making in a partnership with HTC. And a lot of people, myself and Adam obviously haven't played around with it, so we can't really say. But a lot of people are saying that Vive is the thing that is making them believe in VR.
See, I mean, if I was to ask you, who of all the, so what you got Oculus Rift, you got Vive, you got Morpheus, and whatever Xbox One's called. Which of those actually interests you? Because personally speaking, it's Morpheus, because that comes from a company that make games. And all the tech in the world doesn't matter if there's no games. And if Sony are making Morpheus, then they're going to make games for Morpheus. So that interests me. But like Vive, what are we going to be playing on it?
I know what you mean, because Oculus Rift went from a games-focused peripheral to, when it actually does come out, Facebook bought them, so there's obviously like they are still saying that it is still going to be games focused, but there will be other uses for it. Like the Morpheus appears to be the only actual, this is specifically a games machine. But I have to say, the interesting thing about Vive, and this seems to be what people are really hanging their hat on when they claim that this is what could potentially do it for VR, is that unlike the other two, well, right now, I don't know, they might see this and they might adjust their plans to include something like this. But Vive has a thing where Vive will ship with 2, I think they're called Steam bases or something like that. But effectively, from my understanding of it, is that you have 2 sensors that you will put kind of somewhere around the room. I suppose kind of like Kinect in a way, where that, so you'll have the goggles on and you'll be in this 3D space, whatever it is. But as well as that, you'll also actually be able to walk around and truly experience virtual reality.
Yeah, what, in my warehouse?
It's apparently...
I live in a fucking 2-bedroom house near Bournemouth. Like
it works in a space up to 15 by 15 feet. Up to. So I don't know what the minimum is.
Clear a space out. So but all right. So I'll get the removal van in and empty me for. It's fucking Connect again, isn't it?
Take the coach out.
It's just Connect again. Like it's that was great. I'm sure it's cool.
That was a big problem with Connect. All right, it was like, I'm trying Connect. Right, we have to move the couch, move the coffee table.
You know, Connect 2 is much better, but. Like I don't know. I think the idea of VR is super cool. If it works, that must be so incredible and immersive. Don't know. I haven't tried it. How do you demo this? How do you the media bubble online is ever present, isn't it? And it's like, oh yeah, we're so blown away by this. But the media bubble is this tiny part of the population, and that's not who they're selling it to. Like, this needs to be in people's hands, and they need to sell it to people. How the hell do you sell this to the mass market, or are they never planning? I don't know.
Well,
it's weird.
It's a thing that you would have to demo in a consumer space at like games and GameStops and stuff like that. But it is very difficult to say. Like, VR is a thing that
it's not going away.
Not right now, but I mean the bubble could fucking burst very quickly as well.
Yet. The bubble hasn't
because
been
you see,
yet.
Like we none of these things have officially come out yet.
No.
You can't go into a shop and buy any of these items yet.
You can buy an Oculus dev kit, can't you?
You can buy a dev kit, yeah,
which is HD now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But like, if the first VR headset that comes out is shit and. Or, like, I mean, maybe it might even be a good product, but a lot of people are saying that they're getting motion sickness. Now, Vive, because of the fact that you can move around this space, you apparently don't get motion sickness because, your body is moving. It understands that it's moving, so it can adjust. Whereas when you're wearing the Oculus Rift headset and you're moving around with the controller, your brain is kind of getting messed up because you're staying stationary, yet what you're seeing, you're moving, and it kind of fucks you. But if the first headset that goes to market is, if that somehow fails, the whole thing is gonna just botch. Yeah,
yep,
it completely will. I don't know. I would definitely like.
I'd love to try them. All of them.
Yeah, I'd love to try just one of them, just to basically, all right, show me, because it is very much a thing.
Sell me your gear.
It is very much a thing that I think you need to actually experience.
Yep, I agree.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Metal Gear.
It's me, Mario.
Do a barrel roll.
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
Hail to the king, baby.
Even though I just have one participant here,
yeah.
It's still time for a game of Guess Who. Now, Guess Who? This is basically the part of the show where I test the gaming knowledge of my fellow potters. I basically give 5 clues to the identity of a video game character, and you, in this case, just Adam Cook today.
Feels like a con, this, but go on.
Must guess correctly. When you think you have an answer, shout out your... Well, I mean, it's just you.
Can I not do that? I mean, it's just me shouting my name in a room on my own at that point, isn't it?
And tell me what you're thinking. But be careful, Adam Cook, as you only have 3 guesses.
Can I really only have 3 guesses?
Don't fuck up. To the victor go the spoils.
Yeah.
Now, before I say clue number 2, do I only have 3 guesses?
I mean, it's just me, so I mean, I may as well just wait until the end, right?
All right, we'll adjust it accordingly. Okay, all right.
Clue it's your rules, mate. I'm just,
I mean,
if I get it, I will jump in. I'm probably not going to get it. I really do want to get it. I feel less nervous this time because there's no competition, but I don't want to. I want my 100% streak. I don't want to go down. Nails.
You won your first one. So clue number 1. I made my first appearance in a video game back in 2009. Okay. Clue number 2. I'm not known for being that talkative, but I'm great with my hands. Clue number 3. At first I didn't even have a name, to be honest.
Jack from Gears of War.
No.
Bollocks.
Decent guess, though.
Yeah.
Although I do hate when they say that on a fucking on a quiz. It's like, no, but good guess, but no.
You don't get the 20 grand.
How the fuck is it a good guess then? It'd be a good guess if you didn't know and you got anyway. Clue number 4.
Hang on, sorry, what was 3 again?
3 was, at first I didn't even have a name, to be honest. Clue number 4. While my first and only appearance in a game was in 2009, that particular game wasn't officially released until 2011. Give me a guess because you're going to get it.
I have absolutely no idea. They don't talk a lot. They were in a game in 2009, but it wasn't actually released till 2011.
Didn't have a name at first.
Well,
okay.
The character or the game didn't have a name?
The character.
No, I haven't got a clue.
Clue number 5. Also, I should say that the game I'm famous for is now under the watchful eye of Microsoft. I really thought you were going to get it there.
Under the watchful eye of Microsoft. It's just got to be Gears of War.
Nope. Alright, I'm gonna run through it again very quickly. Clue number 1, I made my first appearance in a video game back in 2009. Clue number 2, I'm not known for being that talkative, but I'm great with my hands. Okay. Clue number 3, at first I didn't even have a name, to be honest. Clue number 4, while my first and only appearance in a game was in 2009, that game wasn't officially released until 2011. Clue number 5. Also, I should say that the game I'm famous for is now under the watchful eye of Microsoft. Is now under the watchful eye of Microsoft. That insinuates that it wasn't before.
Yeah, but so that could be Alan Wake. That could be Banjo-Kazooie.
It's now under the watchful eye of Microsoft. That is the clincher. It wasn't before. It is now, and only recently.
Lara Croft.
Only recently it became a Microsoft property. Very recent.
Fucking hell. Is there not a 6th clue? So something that Microsoft didn't own and now they own, which makes me think of Tomb Raider, but it's not Tomb Raider. It's not Alan Wake. I said Gears of War. I'm trying to think of properties that Microsoft have grabbed, and I can't think of any other than those.
Very recently, like within the last, I don't know, 6 months, maybe 8 months, less than a year, I think.
Am I going to really be annoyed with myself for this one?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I'm looking at my game shelf, and I just...
Clue number 6, the biggest game of all time. Well, not really the all time, but... the biggest game of the last 5 years. Easy. It's...
I'm sorry. I'm really trying.
I'm breaking...
Grand Theft Auto...
No, I'm breaking all the rules here. I'm originally Swedish.
No.
Oh, I thought you got it there.
No, I thought it was going to do with The Witcher. They're not Swedish, they're Polish.
They're Polish. What other clues could I give? The lead game designer...
Fable?
No.
Fucking hell.
Let me think of another clue. It's used as the game I feature in is even used as... I bet you Calvin is listening to this.
Minecraft Steve.
Exactly.
He doesn't speak.
Exactly. Clue number 2 was, I'm not known for being that talkative, but I'm great with my hands. I'm not known for being that talkative. He doesn't.
Fucking hell, it makes sense now. Yeah, it was in beta for 2. You see, that's what threw me. The way you said it was officially released, I was thinking like it leaked. You're right. Oh, I'm annoyed with myself. Minecraft Steve.
Yeah, you should be. You should
never
be.
letting my kids hear this podcast. They would be ashamed of me.
We only have one question. This week from our listeners, and this is from Nick Jones at Lane 8360. Nick says, no real question.
Right, good start.
Eventually he does. No real question, just want to say that I quite enjoy the podcast. Keep it up, Colm Ahern. No, I mean,
he quite enjoys it.
Nick, yeah, he's being polite. He's not, fuck off. But then he goes. he goes.
I want to be improved.
He goes on to say, actually, I do have a question. Will Colm Ahern be doing any more dance reviews soon? So I'll defer to you, boss.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, you're doing one for Borderlands, aren't you?
When is that out?
I can't remember.
All right. Well, if it's out,
good at my job, me. This month? Next month. Borderlands: A Handsome Jack collection. The promised one.
If it's out at a time that I have time, I will.
That's not the way, is it, though? You've got to make time.
I said it earlier, I'm a busy man. Adam Cook, I'm
well, now you got to so now the promises you've made, Revelations 2. You should never have me on this podcast. You've walked away having to 2 time-sensitive promises you've made.
But yeah, that's basically the end of the show. So, I suppose, firstly, please do, listener, rate and review us on iTunes. It's very important that you do that, because we don't want us to be your little secret, alright, you cunt? Share us around with other people. So yeah, rate us on iTunes, 5 stars only, please, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Of course, you can follow my good friend. He really is. I love him. I love you. I love
mutual.
you, Adam.
It's mutual.
I love you so much. I love you so much. Sometimes I actually start to hurt inside.
Bit gay.
Thinking how much I love you.
I'm always good for a bit of controversy, aren't I?
You can follow, I don't know why you'd want to, because he's a bit of a cunt, but Adu, he's alright. He normally complains on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter at JeebusF. You can follow me on Twitter at
If you want
to
follow someone who talks about wrestling and
at
random TV tweets, at Colm_Ahern.
And also, of course, God himself at God is a Geek. Facebook.com/GodIsGeek, YouTube.com/GodIsGeek, and GodIsGeek.com itself for all of your news, reviews, podcasts, videos, everything.
What was that llama stuff about?
That was, I know, a couple of llamas escaped a zoo or something.
Things I never thought I'd hear Colm say. Yep, carry on.
They escaped, I think they escaped a zoo or something, and I don't know.
And this is news. This is news to people. We saw some llamas, not in a zoo.
In this day and age,
that's news.
This internet.
That's TV news. We saw some fucking llamas that weren't in a zoo, and that's TV news.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I'm fucking... See ya.
Before we do go, I do want to... Well, I want to give you an opportunity, Adam, to pimp rock band stuff.
The llamas... Well, I mean, I spoke to Nick Chester from Harmonix about Rock Band 4, which is a thing. So you can go over to YouTube and see Colm and I talking about it. Me talking about it, him questioning me on it. It's like I was a PR man. Weird. Ethics. Or just go to godisgeek.com and you should see a big Rock Band 4 logo, and you can click that and read a really lengthy interview where they talk about basically everything you'd ever want to know about a new rock band. Hopefully we've asked them and they've answered. So, yeah.
Wonderful, and that does it for another edition of the God is a Geek podcast. So it's time to say goodbye to our listeners. Adam, say goodbye, Adam.
Goodbye, Adam.
Say goodbye, Colm, Slán, go fóill.